Hey everybody, it's Bob at TNT Customs. We're over in the manufacturing shop today, and we're working on a JL. So this is Jason and Lindsay's JL. Just got back from a couple of days in Moab and snow crawl over the weekend. And the cheesy electric steering pump thing, whatever, isn't up to the task anymore. So we're upgrading steering. What do we got? A whole pile of stuff.
Whole pile of goodies.
What's up, Chris? So PSC sent us the full conversion kit to get rid of the electric pump. Dustin and Jason already have the box installed and are working on the pump. Here's the rest of the kit.
The stuff that has to go in.
Right. So, and then Synergy sent us their steering linkage. I'm not a fan of the 2.5 inch or whatever diameter aluminum steering linkage. To me, it serves no point. It just gets in the way. We've been using Synergy's chrome moly tie rods and drag links for a long time. They stand up really well. They're easy to deal with. All replaceable ends. So maintenance is not a problem. We just got a bag of steering ends for a JK we did about 10 years ago. You know, screwing out, screwing in, do the adjustment, send them down the road. So, like I said, not a big fan of the 2-inch diameter or 2 1/4 or whatever all these guys think that needs to be on a Jeep. It's a frickin' Jeep. It ain't a 5-ton military truck. So that's what we use here. That's what we like. To each their own. What's up, Wayne? Vince? Tom? So yeah, we're doing some upgrades.
Much needed upgrade.
Tell them why.
Well, with the 37s, I've noticed the pump giving out mainly in the mornings when it's our neck of the woods where it's cold. The pump's intermittent of giving you pressure. You'll drive into a turn and have no steering, so you're pulling, fighting against the steering wheel, getting it to go around the turn, and then the pump decides that, oh, okay, here's pressure, and you go in the other lane because now all of a sudden you have all the steering. And then when we were in Bridget, Lindsay ran drag link and tie rod into a couple of rocks. So they're scratched and beat up, and I was tired of not having steering. You know, at those moments that you need to steer and you can't turn it, and the box was failing.
Well, and when you started the day with a straight steering wheel and finished Pritchett a half a turn off, something in it's failed.
And there was banging and popping while we were on Bridget. Not sure where it was coming from, which component, if it was the aluminum box giving issues, because I found it was loose. I tightened it before we left and it started making a racket like an old Cherokee. When the box moves, it's creaky and groany. When the aluminum spacer starts failing, same noise was coming out of this, like the box was just shifting around, and there's evidence of the frame where it rubbed the paint off the frame.
My Gladiator was the same way. We got rid of the aluminum steering box early on for the same thing. The threads in the box itself had pulled, and I had one bolt I could not tighten. It would just spin. It spun the threads out of it. So, you know, supposedly Jeep's remedying that on the newer models. The aluminum steering box is not coming on new Jeeps, but I haven't been down to verify that. So if you got an aluminum steering box, you're going to spend some money. There's just no way around it. You can either go to the factory steel box, which comes on the diesels and Mojaves, I think, as far as Gladiators, but that does retrofit back to a JL, or you can just step all the way up and put the PSC system on. This yeah, the steering box is the same bolt pattern, same hose connection, same. Jason Lindsay built this Jeep more for hard trail use, evident by doing Pritchett 2 weeks ago or whenever Jeep Safari was. They're headed to South Dakota with us for Rockfest, and probably will be leading some of the harder trails. So we've got to get it up to the task. The JL's a damn good Jeep, but they sure went cheap on a lot of important things.
I've been completely tickled with it. It's done everything that I've asked it to do, just fixing Jeep's mistakes in the first place.
Like that. So for all you JL and JT drivers out there that have the aluminum steering knuckle, which is all JL and most JT, only the diesels have steel and the Mojaves have the steel knuckle. Everything else is aluminum. How many miles are on this?
This has got 54, but on those is the Rubicon takeouts.
Right.
When we swapped them in, they had like 3,000, I think.
300.
Yeah, 300. They're brand new axles, so they probably have 15-ish on them.
Okay, so about 15,000 miles on that set of axles. Like Jason said, this is a sport, so it had a 30 front. I got a set of Rubicon takeouts from a big build. So we just swapped the Rubicon axles into this sport. They had 300 miles when they came out, and so whatever, rough math, they got about 15,000 miles of road on them. When we pulled the steering linkage this morning, take the nuts off, the tie rod fell off the knuckle. Just literally fell on the floor.
All three connections fell off.
So the aluminum steering knuckles on this one are hammered. Unfortunately, Reed is currently back ordered, and so is Mopar for the steel knuckles for a diesel VIN or Mojave VIN. So we're just going to have to put it back together until the other knuckles come in, and then it's their daily driver, so we can't just leave it sit here. And somebody decided to tear it apart right in the middle of the shop, so we're kind of hosed at the moment. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get her handled today. Another part we've been working on, and I'm going to put Jason on the spot. That's what happens when you have a birthday and turn into an adult. Jason's 31 yesterday. So he's in midlife, no longer a child. 0 to 30 is child, 31 to 60-ish is midlife, and then you retire. Hopefully, that's the plan. I'm getting close. But we've been slowly dabbling and working in CAD on a truss system for these. That's going to, because he's going to get one of those, if you can see that without me falling over. He's going to get one of them to motivate him to finish the truss, because that's the next failure point on this front end. So mine already failed on my Gladiator, and I stepped up to a Spicer Ultimate 44. But we're kind of known for building trusses for swaps and strength and all of those good things, so this is the next one that's forthcoming. So stand by for a truss. They need it. Like I said, my Gladiator failed at 20,000 miles the the front end was bent. It's a really long story that I don't like to talk about because it pisses me off. Jeep decided to not warranty my Gladiator because I off-road it. It has 35s. It looks a lot like that one. Okay, we do gravel roads and mild wheeling. Basketball size rocks are probably the biggest thing I use my Gladiator on, and the front end was failed and they voided my warranty. So Jeep is one of those 4-letter words we don't say at the moment, but I fixed it, and in true TNT fashion, it's fixed forever. So for all of you that maybe can't stomach a new front end because it's not a cheap operation, truss for these will be forthcoming, and it is a unique design. We're utilizing some new software. We have 3-dimensional CAD now, so we're putting in a little extra R&D on this one, and it, like I said, will be a unique design, nothing like it on the market. That's all I'm going to say at this point. But it will really fix what ails that disconnect front end. So if nobody caught that, it was Jason's birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, a day late, or again. So we're still cranking away here as always. Thought we'd do the TNT over here since we actually have something interesting to work on. We have some cool stuff going on at the Jeep shop too. We got a JK 14 or 15, somewhere in that neighborhood. Rubicon, a mutt. It's had a lot of hands in it, so he brought it to us to actually fix it and get it to drive right, because it's his daily driver and he likes to go to Moab and, you know, do all the Colorado stuff. It's summertime's coming, snow will be gone here shortly in the high country. So we're doing a long arm front and our short arm system rear. It makes a really good combination. No fab work, it's all bolt on. You know, our rear long arm is a bit of a chore to install, because if we're going to do it, we are in true fashion, we just cut shit off and start over. So he didn't really want to go to that extreme yet. So we do a long arm front with our fully adjustable rear short arms. Can move the rear end around a touch and get things centered and lined up and pinion angles and all that good stuff done. So that one's coming along, getting a full set of skid plates, some maintenance things it needed. So here's a tech tip for you. Speaking of maintenance things on that Jeep, we re-geared it from the factory 410 to 513, and lo and behold, when we pulled the rear cover off, little Johnny, amateur or professional, don't know, definitely not professional, but maybe they got paid to do it, I don't know. I guess that's the definition of a professional. Somebody that gets paid to do something. That guy should not get paid anymore, or gal. When you open a rear end up, the factory, and this has been true from way back when, the factory marks the caps. And on JK bearing caps, they have a little N cut in them. One side is vertical, one side is horizontal. Not only did we have the caps on the wrong side of the diff, they were actually upside down. So I don't even know how that's possible, but you know, attention to detail is how that's possible. Nobody was driving the bus that day. So not sure how long it's been that way. The whole rear end got re-bearinged and reset up. It's got a good pattern in it, but that's your tech tip for the day. When you tear a rear end apart, pay attention to what you're doing. Those caps are marked and they are side and orientation specific. For those of you that don't know, the caps and the housings are rough machined. The caps are then torqued in place, and then they're essentially line honed, so that it puts the differential in where it's supposed to be. So when you mix them caps up, it's like mixing main bearing caps up on an engine. Yeah, it'd probably run, probably not for very long. So same. Pay attention to detail, and that's pretty much everything on a Jeep. It's all attention to detail oriented things. So how's the saying go? The devil's in the details, something like that. So yeah, that's what we're doing here, is we're putting assist steering on this so we can go play in the rocks a little harder. Probably test out our corners. Lindsay don't know about body damage, but you know, what does the shirt say? Chicks love body damage. It's coming.
She got the passenger one in mind.
So, you know, there's, oops, not supposed to rotate. There's the corners final installed, full of mud from snow crawl this weekend. Unfortunately, you got to run through the mud to get up to where the big snow is. Yeah, I'm way ahead of you, Tanner, as usual. So they survived Pritchett and
Little tap.
yeah, got a little tap on them there, but no harm, no foul. That potentially would have ripped
That would have taken the taillight off.
taken the tail light off.
Because the factory taillight's about right here is where the bottom of the factory taillight typically sits.
We just survived with a little boo-boo in the powder coat, no big deal. So yeah, these are our big opening corners, like Jason told you the last time we've talked about them. There's, well, you can just see right there, and where he's pointing his finger at, a little trimming off of there, and the evap canister just sneaks out. We're working on a relocation kit for that.
An idea to pull that off.
So, because these 37-inch traps fill that entire wheel opening when you stuff it.
They don't kiss it, but they more or less kiss it.
Right.
Any more up travel than what it had, it would be all over the evap.
And if you had 40s on this, that probably would have got smashed. So that's got to go. Stand by for something that's going to have to be fairly creative, because this system is a lot more complicated than a JK, but we'll figure it out. It'll get moved.
It's just hoses and wiring.
Yep. So, for those of you that actually wheel your JLs, you know, those are some of our new hardcore, I hate that word, but, you know, real trail, not mall rated parts. So yeah, I guess I've probably rambled enough. Well, I want to show you under the hood. I mean, this PSC kit is not for the faint of heart. It's not hard, but you will be doing major surgery. Bunch of stuff has to come out and get out of your way so you can get in there to work. That's the new pump and cool shiny bracket that Tom and crew made. It is all bolt-on, but like I said, you got to take a whole bunch of stuff apart to get, because these Jeeps never had a steering pump. They have
this pulley here.
They have an idler there where the power steering pump is on a JK, and then down here underneath that bracket is where this monstrosity lives, electric motor driven steering pump. Cool. It's a neat concept, neat idea for a milder Jeep, and obviously factory stock Jeeps. Yeah, Corey just said that his 40s rubbed a hole in his canister. Well, stand by, Corey. We're going to help solve that. But since it's a pulse width modulated driven electric motor, going down the highway, they can pull drive away from it so that it gains you fuel economy. There's no constant load on the motor. It's a novel, cool idea. Works great on a stock Jeep or a mild. I've never had trouble with my Gladiator. Yeah, exactly, Jake. Yeah, that wasn't an awesome idea. They did it in the first gen WKs with a Hemi, because there was just no room. So those have a hydraulically actuated cooling fan that drives off the power steering pump. So yeah, and that is not, from being in the automotive repair business, that's not a cheap fix when those fail. So, or yeah, when you're in the middle of nowhere and rip a power steering line or pump fails or whatever, not only can't you steer, the motor's overheated. So I guess it works, you know, because if the motor's overheated, you really shouldn't be steering anyway. So it kind of all works together. So we're pulling all that out. That's part of the kit. You know, we've done a couple of these kits. They go together really well. They are a bit of work. They take a minute to install, but it really gives a nice product when it's all said and done. So other than that, I don't think we got anything. Surprised you can't hear my stomach grumbling over top of the microphone. I'm hungry. It's time for lunch. So we're gonna wrap this up for today. Some places you can find us. Let's finish that up quick. Spring Adventure is 2.5 weeks away, I think. May 15th we leave. We drive down to Moab bright and early in the morning and then spend the night, and then Monday we're out in the wilds of Canyonlands for the week. Some of the crew is splitting off on that last Friday after we break camp and heading down to Overland Expo in Flagstaff. So if you're down there, Mary and I will be down there with Chris and Beth from 4 Exploring, and Brian and Jill from Carolina or CMM Off-Road. So if you see us wandering around down there at Overland Expo in Flagstaff, stop and say hi. After that, we get back Memorial Day. I don't think there's anything significant going on. Our next event will be Big Iron Overland. So it's down in the very southeast corner of Kansas. Mary and I and Chris and Beth will be down there for that rally. It's basically a weekend camp out and small vendor show, live music, etc. If you're interested in that, I know Chris has tickets available. Chris is the promoter of More. We just got back from More here about 4 or 5 weeks ago, whatever it was. I don't know, time flies. And then part of the 4 Exploring crew, like Chris said, is doing this border-to-border trip put on by Zeus. Zeus is one of our installers and dealers up in the Twin Cities. He does a weekend deal up there although Beth's post this morning, there's still ice on the lake and snow everywhere, so better start doing your warm weather dances up there or you're going to need skis. They still got a lot of snow on the ground, but that's in June. And tail end of June is Rockfest up in South Dakota. Mary and I, Lindsay and Jason, the grandkids, some of the crew will be up there for Rockfest. And then after that, July's pretty open. I know Tanner's got something going down at S'more. Mary and I are planning to attend. We'll see if that happens or not. As of right now, it is. And then we kind of start turning seasons here. August is the tail end of summer. We have 2 trips, which I have one I have openings for. The Morrison Jeep Trail is mid-August. That one has been sold out since beginning of February. And then Wandering Wyoming is over Labor Day. This year we're up in the northwest corner. We're going to tour around the Tetons and Yellowstone. Spend some time up there in the high country. And get ready for fall. So we still have openings on Northwoods, which starts in Copper Harbor, Michigan, at the tail end of KOAR, Keweenaw Overland Adventure Retreat. That is mid-September, and then we leave from there on Sunday and begin the Northwoods adventure. This year we go down the Keweenaw and go east through the UP. So that trip we kind of alternate year to year. Last year we went down into northern Wisconsin. This year we're going east, and possibly next year we will go west. So that one kind of changes up from year to year. It's a fall collar run. If you've never seen Northwoods in the fall, you need to. And you might as well go with us because we do all the cooking. So all you gotta do is bring your Jeep and your bedroll, whatever bedroll means to you. And then we finish our For Exploring season out with Fall Adventure. This year we're back on the North Rim. We tend to alternate North Rim and San Rafael Swell every other year. We did the Swell last year, so this year we're back on the North Rim. I have openings on that one as well. Info can be had at info@forexploring.com. Send me an email. We'll chat about it, see if it's something that's for you, and get you a spot. So that's about all I got. I think I'll sign off and go find some lunch. So see ya.